Greetings YouTube and WoT fans. Today I'm going to talk about the American Tech tree. Well, at least I should say the ones that I have played. It's not much. I have not expanded very far into the American Tech tree at all. But let's see where I'm at right now. As you can tell, I have not done too much in this. I've worked a little bit of the TD line, and pretty much neck and neck, right at tier 5. So let's start out from the beginning, shall we, with good old tier 1. Alright, here we have the T1, I believe it's the full name is actually the T1 Cunningham. Anyway, tier 1 light tank. Very strange looking, but then again, most tier 1s do look strange. What can I say about this? It's a light tank. The armor is really bad. Again, tier 1. Top gun over here, I would pick as the machine gun is pretty much here with this, the semi-automatic M1924. Now, about that machine gun, it can go through quite a bit, almost any armor in the game so far at tier 1 I have ran into when I played this thing. It just eats people alive. Now, the bad news about machine guns like this, or autocannons, or whatever you want to call them, is that you have to be relatively at a short range for all your shots to connect. Panzer 1s and 2s have that same issue. Anything that's got that autocannon machine gun feel where ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, you have to be relatively close, or at least at medium range to some degree, because sniping from long distances in this is it's a joke. Now, with that being said, if you're at close range or medium range with this thing will punch holes through the armor of tier 1s very, very easy. There is like no problems. When I played, I hardly ever saw a shot bounce from anyone at all that I went against. This could be a very powerful tier 1. I don't know if it's the most powerful, to be honest, but we're talking tier 1, not much should be marveled with this thing, other than it actually drives around and shoots. I mean, just look at this thing. This thing's antiquated. Anyway, moving on. Let's see here what I have played. Alright, tier 2 we have T2 medium. Okay. Again, it gets the option for autocannon or regular gun. Just single shot, you know, typical stuff. Of course, the single shot's going to do more damage. Less rounds fired downwind than that, obviously. I just vaguely remember playing this thing just to get through it, and I don't remember having wonderful games with it. It could be pretty zippy. I mean, top speed 40, reverse 17. It could be zippy. I mean, I played this a while ago, so I'm not going to sit here and marvel at this thing too much. Again, it's tier 2. Everyone has this ideal of just breezing through tiers 1, 2, and to some degree tier 3. Tier 3 is when the game really starts to show how it's actually meant to be played. Always 2 tiers ahead. Other than that, I really can't go into much remembrance of this vehicle, because I can vaguely remember playing it, actually. I ran into a few tanks like this before, and it didn't leave that much of an impact on me, to be honest. Well, this leads right to, let's take a look. M2 medium to the M2 medium to the Lee. You know what, let's go on here. Let's see, what else have I played? Ah, yes. This thing. The T3 HMC. Now, I actually have never played this thing. Now, you're probably wondering how I was able to get to the next tier with this line if I never played this tank destroyer. Well, I had enough experience to literally, free experience, buy my way through the entirety of this tier. So I have no idea how this thing plays. I just bought my way through to get to tier 3 instantly. Now, when I first started, the tier 2 American Tank Destroyer was the T-18. The T-18, on the other hand, at tier 2, was a monster. It was a complete monster. It had a fast rate of fire. It literally had almost impregnable armor at angles and certain parts just straight on. It wasn't exactly winning any speed records, but this thing was a monster at tier 2. I eventually learned how to deal with taking it out, but by the time I learned how to do that, they actually removed it from the game. They removed it from the tank destroyer line to actually artillery, which in reality it was. See right here. There you go. This is what it used to look. This used to be at tier 2 as a tank destroyer. This thing was a mean contender at tier 2. It was pretty badass, but Wargaming was like, no, it's too difficult for new players to be dealing with something like this. And pretty much they thought it was OP as hell, which, to be honest, it was. As you can tell, here right at the front armor is 50. At tier 2, 50. Right at the front. I think there's some tier 3 tanks in the game that don't even have 50 frontal armor, yet here we have this thing, this artillery piece where any tier 1s, God forbid if they run into that, I don't know if tier 1s can actually see it. No, it's tier 3, so no. Tier 2s, I would imagine, would have a hard time driving up to this thing in the front and try shooting it. I don't think they're going to be going through. Some tank destroyers could go through. I know my Jagdpanzer 1, or Panzerjäger 1, I think it was. Whatever way it went. There were ways of getting through it. But anyway, it's not about this. It's about the T3 HMC. What can I say about it? I don't know. I never played a single game in it. I literally free experience completely right through it. I can't give you an honest opinion, but I think it's kind of crappy that they have not rendered any interior on this tank at all. Just look at that. You can see, oh, there's a chair for the driver. Yeah, there's like nothing on the inside. What the hell, Wargaming? You have a huge opening hole like this and you don't see anything on the inside? Wait, is that a storage bin of some type back there, it looks like? Chair. Yeah, that's it. Yay! A lot of detail inside that. And that's one more thing I would like to mention. I would love to start seeing crews inside tanks. If you're seeing all this, I would like to see someone actually inside the vehicle driving it around. It just is weird looking at something, especially like open turreted vehicles, and you're looking down and there's nothing there. So I think that kind of destroys the realism of what it is. Kind of feels like more like RC tanks more than actually a tank fighting game, I guess. I mean, I can kind of see what they're going for with this. They're tanks, they're fighting each other. There's no people involved, but then why do you have a crew? Anyway, on to the next tank here, so, yes, tier 3. I'm going to start with this one. The T-56 GMC. I hated every game I have had in this thing. I recently also put up, or not recently, but previously put up a video on how bad this thing sucks. I did not enjoy anything about this tank at all. This tank destroyer was just, I couldn't stand how the gun fired, how it looks like it was just lobbing shot after shot after shot, and having a 75% crew trained in it, I know doesn't exactly exemplify what the tank is able to do, or tank destroyers what to do, but come on, if you get behind this thing, seriously, where would you shoot it? I don't know. Maybe the huge box right here with the words ammunition box on it. But then again, you can just do the same damn thing through the front of it. It's not well armored at all, like a lot of tank destroyers. But I hated every second in this damn machine. I did not have one good game in this. I think the most kills I may have gotten out of one game was maybe 2, if I'm lucky. But I hated this thing with a passion. There was nothing good about this. I felt so disappointed at this, and I'm like, oh, this thing is just complete garbage. I hated it. Just despise it. One thing I did learn is GMC is gun motor carriage. If anyone's wondering what that is, but yeah, I hated every second of this thing. If you liked it, more power to you, and especially more power to you if you got this thing to work. But I'm not gonna play a vehicle I hate, unless if I absolutely have to grind through it to get to something I need to, not need to, but want to get. You know, unfortunately, I hated every minute of my life driving this thing. I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. If you liked it, I mean, stuff you could put on it. You're obviously not gonna put vents on it. Camo net, maybe gun rammer, gun laying drive of some type, binocs, it could very much be an option with it, but I never had a good experience with this thing, so that's that.